Milo's protesters are a 21st century carnival freak show, a show within the show. Come for the food, stay for the fun. Come for the game, stay for the pie. Come for the flamboyant, boisterous man in drag, stay for the other flamboyant, boisterous men in drag.
Students' lives are under attack. What do? Stand up like that! They're inviting and giving a platform to Milo to talk about how feminism is a cancer, how rape culture is a myth.
And that's the thing about Milo. His appeal to me is of course due in large part to his own talents, but it's also because his detractors are some of the most entertaining degenerates you will ever see. I don't agree with Milo on everything. For instance, he thinks fat people need to stay out of the gym because they distract him.
If you're that monstrously fat, shouldn't you, as a matter of just public common courtesy, stay home, buy a running machine, eat less until you're an acceptable size? I mean, it's very distracting going to the gym and seeing these gigantic ham planets. You know, it's so distracting. I'm serious.
Which makes me wonder what happens when a ham planet walks into a Planet Fitness. Astrophysical mystery. But you don't need to have complete agreement with everyone you admire intellectually. In fact, it's desirable that we don't. Disagreement yields debate, and debate yields the best ideas. So I don't judge Milo on that on which we disagree. Instead, I judge him according to the criteria by which he judges others.
I judge people by their enemies, and Donald Trump's enemies are all the same people that I hate too, and that's good enough for me.
With that logic, if your enemies are the equivalent of Satan...
You're just very beautiful stage dressing for me. If you weren't such an obnoxious cunt, I'd hit on you.
You might become somewhat of a savior in my mind. As extreme and entertaining as Milo's protesters are, like any drug, their effect is weaker with each dose. If you're used to a hit of Trigglypuff, your average protest interruption isn't going to be effective anymore, as we've seen on this new round of Milo's tour.
There's a large body of work out there now. We've got the red paint from Rutgers. We've got the tranny from where was it? I can't even remember. Washington, D.C. somewhere. American University. Milo wants me dead. Do I? We've got Trigglypuff. If you want to make a scene and enter the history books of Milo protesters, you have to do a lot better than that.
Finally, last week, however, some students at Florida State stepped up their game to compete.
Can you tell me about the plans to protest Milo?
Okay, later today we're having a protest outside of the HCB building near the free speech zone to protest Milo Yiannopoulos, who is a racist, misogynist, who hates trans people.
My friend Eggy on Twitter wonders if this guy is transitioning into his grandma's jewelry rack. I just want to know how it's possible that grandma reincarnated still has a better beard than me. Life's not fair.
Our university is saying that, and putting out this lie, that our university supports all people and that it is pro-equality, when really they're bringing in these people to talk and speak that are totally against that. And the antithesis of, togetherness.
Let's grant for the sake of discussion that all his claims are true, that Milo is hateful and that estate sale is a gender. How is the school anti-equality by allowing all of these different forms of expression and speech to participate and to speak and to battle intellectually? Is the school actively recruiting Milo, actively endorsing him? Or is it merely allowing a student group who wants to hear him speak to do so, allowing expression in the same way they allow you to wear a corsage made of used latex gloves as a fashion statement? I'm all done. They're all yours.
What are some of the examples of things that he said that you have an issue with?
Okay, so specifically the biggest one that is easiest to point at is when he gathered all his fans and supporters to harass Leslie Jones online, hacked Leslie Jones's Twitter to release her nudes, and then like made it out to be like he was the victim of some sort of crime or something.
Normally, I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to online shock media, but truth be told, until now, I hadn't seen the alleged Leslie Jones nudes. I figured my research for this video wouldn't be complete without taking a gander, and let me make one thing very clear. In a world of freely available Leslie Jones nudes, Milo is not playing the victim. In a world of freely available Leslie Jones nudes, we are all victims. I regret the decisions I've made. I want to go back.
Our goal is to show the university that we're not okay with this type of speaker being brought in to speak, and to hopefully prevent the university from bringing another type of speaker like this to come speak at our school.
So you're using your free speech rights in the school's free speech zone
Near the free speech zone.
to reprimand the university for upholding free speech. Look, I get a lot of contradictory thoughts can coexist in the mind of a man who looks like a head-on collision between David Cross and Nicki Minaj.
I have a general consciousness, and that's really just making me do these types of things.
Or the guy who thinks consciousness motivates activism as opposed to conscience. Though at an SJW protest like this, brain activity may indeed be something about which to brag. And those neurons may be hyperactive compared to his social justice peers, but this guy gave several factually inaccurate statements and still feels compelled to protest. Milo never urged anyone to attack Leslie Jones. It was Leslie Jones's own website, not her Twitter account, that was hacked, and there's still an investigation as to who did that. There's no reason to suspect Milo. All that before even mentioning his worst lie of them all,
Leslie Jones, who is a beautiful black woman.
And believe it or not, this guy wasn't even the least informed protester among them.
This man is a bigot. This man supports all types of negativity, and just he embodies oppression.
What kind of statements does, in your opinion, or things that he does that show that bigotry to you?
Well, see, this is my first time actually hearing of him.
This is the first I've heard of him, but I've heard enough to know I should be demonstrating in the streets against him because he's a bigot. What if Morpheus told you, assuming someone is a bigot makes you a bigot? These people hold delusions of educating others when, by their own admission, they have taken zero time to educate themselves. Anytime you want to defeat an intellectual adversary, take him at his highest, not his lowest. Don't say, doesn't agree with me? Racist. Doesn't agree with me? Bigot. Doesn't agree with me? Skilled computer hacker. Assume your opponent's position has a rational basis. Find that rational basis and deconstruct it. And if your analysis fits on a sign or in a chant, go back, because there's probably some nuance that you missed. That is how you win. And actually, that's how you reach the togetherness that you crave too. Togetherness isn't agreement. Togetherness is understanding. Agreement without understanding isn't worth very much. Understanding without agreement, that is something of value. That is a force that brings people of different perspectives together. So, David Minaj, put that consciousness to good use with a sincere effort for understanding those with whom you disagree. Despite your best aesthetic efforts to discourage them, you might just find they'll do the same. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at Matt C on YT. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.